Hi there, my name is Rowena, and if you're new to my channel, I am the designer for the Sojourner Traveler's Notebook, folios, and other leather goods, and now digital goods as well. In this video, I will give you a flip through of the Faith Life Journal Planner and show you the basics of how it works. Prior to this video, by the way, there are a couple of other videos where I talk about why I have ventured into the digital world to journal and plan hybrid style, and also some other how-to videos. So you might want to check those out. Let's go ahead and get started. Once you've uploaded your Faith Life Journal Planner, you will see the front cover, which looks like this. And next is the contents page. I believe that as a Christian, my business, personal life, and spiritual life are intertwined and not compartmentalized. And so with that in mind, I combine my faith, my whole life into one journal planner. Because I consider myself a journaler first and a planner second, I created the Faith Life Journal Planner, or journal planner, we can call it for a little shorter name, with a documentarist journaler in mind. As with our other Sojourner products, I designed this to be clean, simple, and functional. For example, I eliminated tabs, which are normally in planners here usually, and sometimes they have them up on the top. I also used the least amount of icons possible so that you don't have to have a map legend or a reference chart to get from one area to another. I eliminated a lot of other templates that you might see in planners because, well, you know the saying, less is more. Well, in this case, I like to say that less is, well, less. Less pages, less confusion, less things to make you anxious and keep you from using the journal planner. In the near future, I will come out with template add-ons and stickers, so stay tuned for that. Oh, and one last thing I want to note, I also designed this with bigger, bolder fonts so that it is easier to read. First of all, let me show you a couple of things. I want to remind you that in the GoodNotes app, there is a read mode and a write mode. Currently, I am in a write mode, and you know this because you will see the writing utensils, photos, etc. You can toggle back and forth by clicking on this icon right here. Okay, so now I'm going to click on it, and the icons disappear, and now I am in the read mode. Okay, so in order for you to be able to tap on these categories, you need to be in the read mode. The other thing I want to show you that is really important for you to remember with this planner is that on the bottom of each page are two icons. The first icon basically gets you to the calendar for a quick view of 2023. The second icon is to get you back to the contents, because anytime you need to get from one area to another of this journal planner, you want to go back to the contents instead of using tabs that can sometimes be confusing. So always remember, for you to get around, you have to use this icon, which will always get you back to the contents. Wherever you're at, that icon will show up. You see here? Brings you back to the content. So you always know that when you come back here, this is where you can choose the area that you want to go to. And it's very simplified. I designed it once again, like I mentioned earlier, with function being my top priority, and clean, easy to read, font, etc. On the yearly calendar, let's start there. You can go to the 2023, go back if you want to go to 2024, go back to contents. If you want to go to the important dates for 2023 and write those things down, you can. If you want to go ahead and plan way in advance and write some of your important dates for the following year, which is 2024, you can either choose it from here or go back to the contents and choose it here. So that's the yearly calendar section. Then you have the monthly calendar section, and each of the months are represented, and we'll go to the monthly overview. Again, if you want to go now, you want to go to February, you can go there. And here's the monthly overview. To get to the next one, once again, tap on that icon and you can get to wherever you want to go. September. At the top here, it will always have in each of these overviews for the month, it will have the monthly focus, a life collage, and a journal. Okay, so that you can easily toggle to those. Or you can get it from here. Monthly focus, life collage, journal. Let's go to January. You can also get a weekly schedule by going over here to the different weeks. Okay, so week 1, let's say, if you go there, it will give you this horizontal view of a schedule if you want to use that, but you can also choose the vertical, which looks like this, or a time tracker. Okay, and it'll tell you the week and the date. You can also, this will always be per week. You will see this, that you have 3 choices, and you can actually just swipe. A fast way as well would be to go ahead and use these to toggle back and forth. Now what I do with this is I do different things. I use the vertical for things that have to do with notes for work. So let's say on Monday, there's some instructions that I need to give to the studio. I will write it down here. I will sometimes at the bottom part will write notes on maybe what I talked about or what took place. On the time tracker, I use that for my own schedule. So if I have things that I have to do, I have to make sure I do for work, I write it in here. And if I have an appointment, I write it in red and I write it in here. This page right here that's a time tracker basically is for me, okay? Sometimes I will put the personal items over here in the horizontal. Let's say if someone's birthday was on the 3rd, I'll put it in here. Or if there's some things that I need to make sure I purchase for the week at the grocery store, I may put it in here instead of putting it in the time tracker, because this is a little bit more concise as far as the schedule, you know, because then a lot of times I need to know what time I need to do certain things, appointments to go to. But over here in the horizontal, I don't have those time schedules, so it's easier for me to add the things that are personal in here since it's not necessarily scheduled. Now, if you want to get back to that month, right up here, in all of the weekly, it will show you that month. So this is January, right? So let's say we're writing things down and we go, you know what? What else do I need to do this week? So then you would just go back here and you will find it here. Let's go ahead and go back to the contents. And here we have the monthly focus. I have a monthly focus for every month. Okay, so let's say we go to January. This is the monthly focus. Okay, what you will see is the calendar, a monthly focus, which is right here. You can click on it, a life collage, and a journal. Okay, so let me go through those really quick. The monthly focus is basically, you can write your important dates in here, and you can write a scripture verse for that month in here that you can go back to over and over. This is something that I have found that I really enjoyed last year when I was putting it in my Faith Life journal. I would ask the Lord every, right before the month starts, I would start asking, you know, is there a verse that would be my verse for the month that I might be able to look back on over and over. And usually it's a verse that just really spoke to me, or maybe I saw it several times, like in church, or someone gave me the word, whatever. And so that's what I will put in here. Okay, and then here you can also put your goals for the month. You have 3 slots for your goals, and then priorities for the month. You have here tasks and other notes. Okay, so every month has a monthly focus, and after that is the life collage. And to me, the life collage could be anything. It could be pictures, it could be pictures of what you posted that whole month. You can add to this one at a time, or you can make it like a vision board and do this at the beginning of the month. Or like what I like to do is just make a collage as time goes on. A lot of times it's all different photos. So this is a good place to put those things. And then the journal, there's always a journal page in the month. And remember when I talked about how I went about this with a journaler in mind? I know that many people who are journalers have a hard time when they see a page and it is empty. And it debilitates them. It keeps them from moving forward and going to the next date. I get that comment a lot. People just don't like to see pre-dated pages and then see a bunch of pages that are empty. It just really stops them from moving forward and journaling further. So I eliminated that by only giving you 1 journal page per month. And it's up to you to add however many pages that you want as time goes on, as you have time to journal, etc. So what you will do with something like this is the journal for January. Let's say I journaled on the 1st of January. I'm so excited, right? Because it's the 1st of January and I'm gung-ho and I'm like ready to journal every day or what have you. So you would go to the write mode and you would take the highlighter, and let's say you're going to highlight on the 1st, okay? So you know that in January, this page has to do with the 1st. And typically what I do is I will write down the day. So let's say it's a Saturday. I will write down the 1st is a Saturday. I will put Saturday, okay? So let's say you got right up to here and you wanted to continue. Then you could take another color, okay? And continue. Let's say, so you did really well on the 1st, and then you're like, oh, there were so many days that I didn't get to journal because of one thing or another. You know, life happens. So let's say you journal the next time on the 6th. You can do that in blue. And then you could write what day it is, even highlight it in blue, and then continue with your journaling. Okay, so you're not going to have empty pages. And you're not going to have to look and go and swipe to all the empty pages because they're predated. Not with this journal page. If you need to add a new page, all you have to do is go here where it has a plus sign, click on that, and click on the current template. And it'll give you another January page. So it'll give you as many pages as you want. Typically for me, I know I journal quite a bit, so I'll go ahead of time and I will just add a bunch of pages, like maybe 3 or 5 at a time, so that I know that I'll have 5 pages. Now, one of the things you really need to be careful of, and I'm going to go more in detail on that, is moving pages around, okay? If you're not used to digital hyperlinks and such, you can break a hyperlink if you move the pages around. Hopefully you know about that, and if not, I will in a future video talk about that. But in the meantime, please do not trash any pages or anything, okay? If you want to start over, just erase it. Let's go back to the contents, and again, I am in the write mode because it's showing the different tools for writing and such. So I want to go to the read mode so that I can toggle back and forth. So there's the read mode. And then I go back here to the contents. So the next one is the life collage and journal, which we already went through. And then I added this, which is the quiet time tools, one of my favorite areas. There is a Bible reading tracker, prayer requests, verse mapping, lecture notes. This whole month of December, I have been using the verse mapping as I'm doing the verse mapping of Proverbs. Hopefully you've been able to join me on that. It's a live that I do every day in December. I think I missed about 3 of them recently though, because I was on the road and couldn't do it. But yeah, so we're doing the verse mapping, and this is the template that I've been using. Bible reading tracker. Let me show you what that looks like. So let's say that you were at church and you were in the Old Testament. There's 2 pages for the Old Testament and then 1 in the New Testament. And you studied the book of Ruth at church on a lecture last Sunday. Okay, I'm going to go to the write mode and go to the highlighter tool. And let's say in Ruth, we studied chapter 1 and 2. So I would go here and highlight it. And then let's say in my Bible reading time today, I read, let's say, all of Proverbs chapter 12. So then I can go to a different color if I'd like. And I can go to Proverbs, which is on the next page, 12. Now, I have been doing the Proverbs a day in December, and so I know that I have read all these chapters up to 12. So I can go ahead and actually mark that. So what does that do? It shows you what you have studied. You know, that way you can go back and say, oh, I haven't studied anything in Isaiah. I can go here. And every time you study, every time you read the word, every time you're in church and you go through a whole chapter or 2, you can go ahead and mark it. And then that way you'll get to see what you have done as far as reading is concerned. So this is one of my favorite templates, because it'll give me a realistic view of what I actually did. Because sometimes you go, oh, well, I read John this year so far, and maybe you thought it was this year, but really it was the year before. Or gosh, I feel like I've not really read a whole lot and it's already March. So you can go here and it'll give you what it is that you have read and give you a really realistic view. So I really like this template. The other one is prayer requests. You can write their name, the date, the request, and any notes that you may want to add or include. Okay, again, if you want to add another prayer request page, because there's only the one that I gave you, you can do it by clicking on that plus sign and saying current template. And so now you have 2. But this first one, keep in mind, is the one that has the hyperlink. Okay, so you never want to get rid of this first page for sure. And then there's the verse mapping, which looks like this. And then there's lecture notes. I've been using the lecture notes whenever I go over to church and listen to the pastor's sermon, but I also use it for other notes. Like if I'm listening to a podcast, I use this for notes as well. Here are different sections. There are 12. You can look at this as like notebooks, different sections, different notebooks, okay? So I give you 12 of them. And in the front here, you can title it. Let's say you want this to be a commonplace book. So you would, whoops, we need to go into the right. You can write it or you can type it. Let's say on your second one, you want this to be research. You get my point. Whatever you want to have a notebook for, you can write the title here. And then you could go, and it's hyperlinked, so you can go to your you can go to your commonplace book, and here, let's say, put commonplace. And then you can add pages after this, because this is just the title page. So right here, you can see lined, grid, dotted, blank lined, or blank paper. So let's say you wanted a dotted. Whoops. Again, see, it didn't click on it because I'm on the write mode. Now I'm on the read mode. I can click on dotted. It'll take me to a dotted page. If you're going to use this for the different categories, as you're using these pages, what you want to do, instead of using the plus sign to get another page, what I would suggest is you go here in this 3 dots and say copy page. So then it copied, right? And then you could go back to where you wanted it to go. So again, let's say you wanted it to go behind a commonplace because you want it here, okay? Then you go here to that plus sign. Instead of tapping on the current template, you say paste page, and it pasted it behind. Okay, let's say you filled that up with writing and such, and now you want to use a different kind of page. So you go back here and you go to, let's say you want a grid this time. Again, you go here to the 3 dots and say copy page. Okay, then go back to that commonplace book, and this is the one you had written on. You say paste page. You will see it says after, or you can put it before, or you can put it in the very, very last page. But on this, we're going to continue on this notebook, this category. So we're going to go to after and say paste page. And now I have the graph page here. Okay, so now you can fill that up with whatever category you want. Again, this is like a notebook, separate notebooks. And in here are add-on pages. Let's say in the month of January, you know, not every week do you need a daily focus. Sometimes your days are so full, so packed that you might want a daily focus page within that week. And sometimes you don't need it because maybe you only had 2 or 3 appointments. You were able to put it in your weekly schedule that you didn't need a more detailed daily focus. So that's why I didn't include it as a page for every week. So it's up to you if you want to add a daily focus page. So let's say we're in the month of January, and on the first week of January, on a Monday, there's a lot that you need to get accomplished. You can go to this daily focus, copy this page, again by going here with the 3 dots, copy page, and then you go to January, you go to that week of week 1, and you can put it here. Whether you want to do it before this or after, it's up to you. But let's say it's the daily focus you need is on the 4th. You don't need it on the 2nd. You don't need it on the 3rd, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. You don't need it, but you need it on the 4th, okay? So nevertheless, this is a whole week. You can put it here. Say paste page, and there's your daily focus. And then you could put your date here, okay? Let's say you wanted it instead behind this format. You can do it there too. So you can put it wherever you want. Okay, so you're not going to have the extra pages. That will be annoying to you because you're seeing all the empty pages because you didn't really need it for the other dates, only for the one date. But then if you need it for every day, then you could do it consecutively and then just date it at the top. Books and podcasts. I personally would keep these here. All of them here, because I don't need to put this within a month. Like in January. I don't need to put this in January because if I wanted to, I could just date this if I want to know what date. But at least all the books and podcasts are all lined up. Movies and shows. I would keep that there. The only thing I would really move is Daily Focus, which is probably what I would want in the different weeks that I need it in. But other than that, if I'm going to the movies next week, I don't need to put the movie shows in that week. I'll just keep it here so that consecutively all those movie pages will be in the same place. Event, I personally would keep it in the same place because I don't have a lot of events that I have to fully plan like this. So I would just keep my events in the same place. But if you want it in that week that it's going to happen, you can move it there again by just copying and pasting it. Then we have projects. Then there's travel. The general tracker. So this works like the journal. You can highlight the month you're tracking. Let's say you're going to track February. And then you can write whatever it is that you're tracking, and these are the dates. Let's say that's all you tracked for February. And then in March, you want to track something else. You can list it here, and either you delineate it by putting the color of the highlight that you used here by doing that. Let's say you only tracked one thing in February. There it is. Let's say in March, you want to go ahead and track 3 different things. You can highlight this, and then you can do this, because then you could know those are the 3 things that you were tracking in March, and so on. So right here are add-on pages for other templates that you may either purchase from me or maybe from another digital maker. And all you have to do is go ahead and write on here what that template may be. So let's say it's finance template or health. You can then click on this hyperlink and it'll go to a blank page, okay, that you can add the different types of paper behind this one page. So you can put pictures in here. Let's say it's the health. You can put pictures in here that has to do with health. You can title this saying health on it. And so that way it will always go to this when you click on health. Then when you click on finance, there'll be another page that's for finance, and you could title it the way you want, etc. And it's hyperlinked. Now, yes, you could do the same thing here on the sections, but I wanted it separate because I wanted this specifically for templates, so that when you're going in here, you can easily go, oh, I need that template. You could go right in here right away, and you don't have to look through the 12 and go, which category is that in? See, I tried to think of everything that make it easy for you to get around your journal planner. So hopefully this will make your life easier, less stress, less confusion, It's simplified, like I said, and I really wanted it to be functional and easy to maneuver around. And right down here are note papers, so you can go right to the note paper if you want to add note paper anywhere you want it to go. If you have any questions, please feel free to write it down in the comment section, or you're always welcome to email me at contactsojourner@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram under RetroChurs. Alrighty, well, thank you for hanging in there with me, and talk to you guys soon. As usual, keep on documenting life as it happens. Bye-bye.